Hi guys, welcome to another audio video, and I'll be reading Mark 5 of the King James Version Bible, and it reads, "And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountain and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice, and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh unto the mountain a great herd of swine feeded. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled, and told it in the city and in the country, and they went out to see what it was that was done. And they come to Jesus, and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion, sitting and clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed, and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Jesus was passed over again by ship into the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse, when she had heard of Jesus, came to in the press behind, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, Who toucheth my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, The daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he answered no man to follow, and he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entereth in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is, being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years, and they were astonished with a great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat. Alright, guys, so in this chapter we see some of the wondrous works of God, and of this we see that Jesus told them not to tell anyone of this second thing that he had done, basically raising this child from the dead, because he saw of the reaction that the people had when it was that he had cast out the legion of devils from the possessed man, and the people basically banished him from their land. So they urged him out of the land because of what they saw. They were afraid, and Jesus didn't want to instill that kind of fear within them. That goes to show you that it is hard for human beings to comprehend certain things. They are able to actually understand things that are explainable, but things that are unexplainable they cannot understand, they cannot comprehend, and so they greatly fear these things. And that shows that's where basically there is an issue. And this can be very bad in certain situations where you have people who are very fearful, because we know that fear drives people to do things they wouldn't normally do at times. There's good fear and there's bad fear, but the fear that was being experienced by these individuals was a bad type of fear, right? And so we need to know that fear can be a good motivator as well as it can be a deterrent for us. And so we had seen where Jesus had asked, why do ye fear? And fear ye not, right? Because he wants them to know that they need not fear. There's no need for them to fear, because God is with them. So they do not need it as a motivator, and they do not need it to basically compel them to do all manner of evil. And at this point, he didn't want the people to have fear in a bad way, which they would to see somebody raised from the dead, because they couldn't fully comprehend it, right? So guys, sometimes we need to understand the fact that not all things will be basically acknowledged by others, and people won't be able to fully comprehend the wonderful works of God in the way they ought to. They will not be very receptive of it because of fear at times, and we need to understand that as well. and ask God for guidance whenever we come across such situations, so that He'll help us to maneuver through these as well, so that we will not lose souls, but we will gain souls for God nonetheless. All right. So, guys, I'm gonna leave that right there. But please remember to continue to walk in your salvation. And if you've not gained it, then seek it. There's no better time to begin than the present. Have yourselves a blessed day. Bye.